Welcome on in Welcome on in to the southeast corner of the Valley of the Sun alongside Andrew Bell. I'm Austin Burnett. Andrew, we got a good game tonight here between the Chandler High Wolves and Tucson High Badgers. High profile game against the Badgers coming up from Tucson and Jacob Conover, one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Arizona so far.
Yeah, Jacob Conover for this Chandler Wolves team, a BYU commit. He's one of the best in the country, and that's why he's had a commitment to BYU. Having another great year. Last week against Basha in a 62-14 win, was 23 for 29, 282 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Did have 1 interception, but that will be allowed in a 62-14 win. So he's been lights out all season, as he has the last couple years, in what has become an absolute powerhouse in this Chandler Wolves program.
Yeah, and the wide receiver Maldonado, he's the leading receiver for this Wolves team with 745 receiving yards. But Lee Brock is probably the most well-known name. He has 436 yards and 4 touchdowns to his name. What more can you say about this kid? He can really do it all.
Yeah, those are his 2 main targets. Braden Liebrock and Gunnar Maldonado. That's where it starts for them offensively, as Chandler takes the field here to a nice applause in front of their hometown crowd. But, yeah, that's where it all starts, is with those 2 guys. Those are going to be Conover's main targets. Looking at the offensive side of the ball as well, Carlos Brooks, another guy who really stands out for this Chandler Wolves offense, returning off of last year's team with Drake Anderson in the backfield. He's been the lone guy this year, although he's had a little bit of help but between him and Jaheim Brown-Taylor. But Brooks, 165 carries, already over 1,000 yards on the season, has a 6.6 average and 16 touchdowns. So very good numbers for the running back.
You want to say those numbers again, just in case people didn't know? That was 6.6 yards per carry?
6.6 yards per carry. He gets big chunks. He's going to gash you on the ground, and this Chandler team just a very well-rounded unit, not only offensively but defensively as well. And if you're Tucson coming in here on the road, pretty tall task at hand this evening, but the games like this is what you play for against number 1 teams.
Yeah, especially, defending state champs here for the Chandler Wolves. They're also the number 1 ranked team in the state of Arizona, and the ranked 35th. Yes, I said 35th in the nation. So this is Tucson High's got quite the test coming up here tonight.
Definitely. And, Tucson, like I said, it's a tough trip. You got to come in Chandler, come into hostile territory, a very tough place to play. This is a team, you look at their schedule, they're 5-3, and so you say, they're 2 games over 500. This team started off 5-0 to start the season. They've lost their last 3, so they're looking to get back on the right track. The last 3 weeks have been a little rough, losing to South Point Catholic, Cesar Chavez, and O'Connor. All tough losses for this Badgers team, and so they're looking to amend that this evening.
And what are your expectations for Conover tonight? He's, as I mentioned, he is one of the premier quarterbacks in this state. What do you expect out of him tonight?
I'm expecting a big game from Jacob Conover. Just what he's been doing in the last couple of years with this program, and that's just playing really solid football, controlling the offense, controlling the passing game, and just really putting out a solid performance tonight against this Tucson team.
As Tucson High gets ready to tee the ball up, we're getting ready for kickoff here in the southeast corner of the Valley of the Sun.
A beautiful evening as well. Very nice temperature. Things have started to cool down here in the valley, and absolutely picture-perfect night for some Friday night lights.
Mark Vargas has the ball teed up, and we are ready to go here at Chandler High School. And it is up and away, and we are ready to go. And is fielded at about the 15-yard line, and he is at the 20, the 25, the 30. He is at the 40, the 50, the 45, the 40, 35, all the way down inside the 30, about to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, an absolutely beautiful start to this game for Chandler. They're already into plus territory down near the 25-yard line, and just a very nice return for the Wolves, getting a couple blocks upfield. And now Jacob Conover gets to go out with this offense and start with ideal field position on his first drive of the game.
Conover's going to have a real shot to set the tone here. His main receiver, Liebrock, is to our near sideline here. Looks like Conover's going to be in the shotgun. 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. He's going to have running back in the backfield to his right. Now he lines up in the pistol, awaits the snap, motions his running back to his right, takes the snap, hands it right up the middle, and for about a nice 4-yard gain on the play.
And that's to Carlos Brooks, as we mentioned just prior to this game. He's going to get a lot of carries tonight. He's going to be their number 1 guy. I mentioned last year is a little bit of a 2-headed tandem. His other running back alongside him was Drake Anderson, who's now down at now up at in the Big Ten Conference at Northwestern.
As Conover drops back to pass, looks left to right, can't find anyone. He does find it. His target over the 15, 10, 5. It is a touchdown for Chandler High School.
Yeah,
right off the bat, it only took not even a minute off the scoreboard. 11-17, just under a minute, and Chandler's already up 6-0.
Yeah, an absolutely perfect start. Jacob Conover just has all the time in the world back in the pocket, just finds his man over the middle of the field. He skips into the end zone, gets a nice block going up the field as well from a wide receiver, and just like that, it's already 6-0 Wolves pending the extra point.
Oh, and they have trouble with the snap, and he's tackled back at the 14-yard line, so the extra point will be no good. 6-0. Chandler up early here in the first quarter.
Yeah, that's one thing you never like to see is just the botched extra points or the missed extra points. It looked like there was a little bit of a low snap and a little bit of miscarry on the hold. So nonetheless, it remains a 6-0 game for Chandler. But like I said, still off to an ideal start in this one. And if you're Tucson on the road, got to look to answer right back here in this first quarter, not get down too early.
Yeah, the expectations are high for Sean Aguano and his squad coming off that state championship just about a year ago. And it's the ideal way to come out and score a touchdown, but not an ideal way to finish it by botching the snap and not getting a chance to attempt that extra point. But nonetheless, it is 6-0 here in the first quarter in favor of Chandler. 11-17 left to go in the quarter. As the ball teed up and squared away, and it is a pooch kick, hits the 20-yard line and bounces back, and it will be kicked out of bounds. There's going to be a flag on the play. And Tucson will be set up in good field position to start this drive.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an unfortunate bounce on the pooch kick for the Wolves. It just hits the 20-yard line and then just rolls straight to the sideline, just like that's going to be a penalty to start this drive. So tack on a couple more yards for Tucson, who are let out to the field by their quarterback. That is Jesus Montano, senior quarterback for this Badgers team. On the year, 50 for 111, 670 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He's going to lead out this team tonight for the Badgers.
Tucson High takes the snap, handoff on the left side for, it's going to be either a no gain or a loss of about 1. It's going to be, the ref marks it as no gain on the play.
Yeah, it's Gary Love on the handoff, and you are indeed correct. Austin looks like no gain, but a good job by that Chandler defensive line just plugging up the holes early in this one and not allowing any movement or holes developing at the front of the line and in the trenches.
Tyler Soto in the gun. He hands that ball off on the left side. Hands about a 1-yard gain on the play. It's going to be a long 3rd down.
Yeah, and you look at this the numbers for this Tucson High team. They're a team that likes to run the ball a lot. You're going to see a lot of rushing attempts tonight. 164 yards on the ground is their average, at 93 through the air. So a team that has a little bit of a tilt, and you're going to see them hand the ball off a lot.
As Jesus Montano lines up in the shotgun formation, he's going to have 2 receivers left, a flanker right. 2 receivers right and a flanker right. Soto drops back the pass, unleashes it down deep, and it will be knocked away, incomplete. It's going to be a 4th down and 8. David Eppinger on the defensive breakup there for the Chandler Wolves. Very nice play by the senior.
Yeah, really nice play there by David Eppinger. Just on the outside, he's in man coverage, doesn't panic, the ball's thrown up his way, and just reads and reacts it perfectly, doesn't hold on, doesn't grab anything like that. So a very nice play by the cornerback on the outside in a 3rd down situation.
Matt Jones back deep to return this punt. And there's a false start on Tucson High. It's going to back him up a 5 yards. It's going to be a 4th down and 13.
So
4th down and 32. 4th down and 13 from the 32. Exactly 10 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. Chandler up 6-0. And the punt is up and away into the Phoenix Knight. It will be fair caught at the 28-yard line, and Chandler's going to have the setup shop right about at the 28-yard line.
Yeah, offense looking to repeat what they did last time they came out in the field. Worth noting tonight as well is Jacob Conover being a senior for this Chandler Wolves team. You might see it towards the top of your screen here, but letters near the 50-yard line say senior night, and it is indeed senior night for this Chandler Wolves team. Imagine we'll still have some football left to play on this field. Regular season senior night for this Chandler team.
It's going to be, and it is also a pink out night in honor of breast cancer awareness in the month of October. Conover set up in the shotgun, 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. He unloads deep, all the way out. He has a man, and it is caught. And it's going to be a flag on the play. I believe it's going to be defensive pass interference, but an amazing catch.
Yeah, that's Leibrock going over the middle of the field. Not too sure what they're going to call. Flag came late on the play. It might have been a face mask as he went down. I didn't see too much holding, but it might be a face mask. The rest are having a little bit of a discussion as to what that is right now.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a face mask. You can see the head linesman. It's actually going to be pass interference on Tucson. 2 penalties against Tucson, but they're bringing the ball back.
It's going to
pass interference, but trying to get the official word from the PA. So they're going to bring the ball back. Don't know exactly why, but there was a penalty on Tucson for pass interference and also a personal foul on Tucson.
There's a lot of laundry on the field on that last play. A little bit of an interesting call, but it resets now.
Pitch on the left side and tackled out of bounds for a short gain, if anything.
Yeah, and that's to Carlos Brooks on the outside after that little bit bizarre play with the flags. We apologize that we don't have the official ruling. We're listening to the PA announcements for a second.
You couldn't really get the official word. I like the Carlos Brooks. I like that name.
Yeah, to Carlos Brooks, like I said, a big running back on this team. But after that little bit bizarre play, a nice job by this Tucson defense.
As Conover takes the ball, and he will get the first down and more out to the 48-yard line. Very nice run and good use of his feet there by the quarterback.
Yeah, Conover just using his feet, has a lot of green out in front of him and takes advantage of that already near midfield, and this Chandler offense is driving once again.
Trips left, and he will throw it out to Leibrock on down the left sideline. He is at the 30, the 35, down to the 20, 15, and he will be marked down at the 14-yard line. Very solid screenplay there set up by Conover.
Definitely, and as soon as I saw that trips formation, Austin, the immediate thing I thought is they're going over that way, and that's exactly what they did. Leibrock gets a couple nice blockers out in front of him. They do the work, and then he's able to tiptoe up the sideline. So a good play call there by the Wolves.
No huddle offense handed right up the middle to the Carlos Brooks, and he will get a gain of about 5 yards down inside the 15. It's going to be marked down about the 12-yard line. This Chandler offense, they're running and gunning right now with the no huddle offense. Conover's going to be under center, single back formation, 2 receivers right. He has a tight end to his left, throws it out to his right side, dumps it off, and it's going to be another touchdown for Chandler High School.
Yeah,
fireworks go off here at Austin Field as Chandler takes a 12-0 lead.
Yeah, and another beautiful play call, just a play action rollout. Conover finds his man out in the flat, and he just walked it straight into the end zone. And Wolves just absolutely rolling right now. See what the extra point entails this time after a missed first one. But you mentioned, Austin, fireworks going off. There might be a lot of those tonight, the way this offense is looking right now.
As Chandler see if they can actually get a PAT down this time. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is good. It is a side-winding kick I thought it was going to loop too far left, but it just squeezes right inside that left upright as Chandler takes a 13-0 lead. 8:37 left on the clock here in the first quarter.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward kick there, but it only matters that it splits the uprights. A little bit of a frisbee kick you mentioned.
Yeah.
It kind of sidewinded Austin, but it works, it counts, and it's a 13-0 ball game. So this Chandler team off to an ideal start right now.
Yeah, Sean Aguano trying to establish the tempo right here, and he did exactly that with a no-huddle offense, and it paid off for him.
Yeah, that no-huddle offense just so lethal, and as a defense, it can take a toll on you just with that speed and up-tempo that comes at you. If you're not set and you're not sure what an assignment is right off the bat, that's what's going to happen. You're going to see the ball in the end zone a lot. And for this Tucson team right now, down 13-0 early in this first quarter, just that'll look to recover a little bit against a really good Chandler team.
Vargas has the ball teed up, waiting for the signal for the referee. Actually, it's going to be Tim Moore, the senior running back and wide receiver. Tim Moore getting the kickoff duties tonight. He has the ball squared away. Waves to the ref on both sides, and another pooch kick. Short, fielded at the 23-yard line, going right to left across the sideline. Tucson High moving down the field out to the 35, and he's going to get about to the 39-yard line. Tucson High. Badgers going to have good field position to start this drive.
Yeah, that's Andres Delgado on the turn, doing a good job just cutting back up field after receiving that pooch kick. It's a little help with some blocks in front of him, and he's able to bounce to the outside and make a nice play. So pretty good field position thus far for this Tucson team. We'll see what they can do on this drive.
Chandler High School has a great venue here. They even have their own DJ. And not only do they have their own DJ, they have a film breakdown monitor that they watch down there on the sideline. The technology in some of these high schools is absolutely spectacular. As Tucson High takes the snap, and he's going to get wrapped up in the backfield for a loss of about 4.
And you talk a little bit about the facilities here at Chandler, Austin. Just something really special that Sean Aguano's got going here. Just establishing a powerhouse and so many great players that have come through this program, and really just embracing the family mantra that this program has taken on. And it seems like every year this Chandler team just gets a little bit better and better.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
that's the case once again this season.
As Jesus Montano takes the snap, throws it over to his receiver, Wyatt Campos, and he gets a gain of about 7 to 8 yards on the play. It's going to be a third down and medium here for the Badgers.
Yeah, pretty good job by Campos there, just getting a block, bouncing to the outside, and making a play and setting up somewhat of a third and manageable for this Tucson team.
Officially an 8-yard pickup on the play. 3rd and 6 from the 43-yard line. The Badgers moving down the field left to right. 7:44 left to go here in the first quarter. Chandler up 13-0. And Montano has 2 running backs each side. He has a flanker right and a receiver right, tight end to his left. And he takes the read option up the middle. It's going to be close to a first down. And the ref is going to mark him, I believe, just a bit short. And they will. It's going to be a 4th down and inches here for the Badgers.
Yeah, good read option there that time by Montano. Just wasn't able to get close enough to the sticks. It's really close right now. I'll be interested to see if they have to measure it all. Can't see from our vantage point if they made it. It looks like they're going to send out the punting team nonetheless. So it is a 4th down, but a nice read option. And if you're Tucson, just a couple inches short, and all it takes in the second drive.
Yeah, the Badgers, Tucson High, keeping it conservative here against a very talented Chandler High team, because if you don't get this first down, then you're setting Chandler up with perfect field position on your side of the field.
Yeah, and it's one thing you don't want as a football team as well. Back-to-back 3-and-outs from the offense to start it's lethal, especially against this Chandler team. 3-and-outs, you're playing with fire, because then defense gets tired. You're already dealing with enough on your hands with Jacob Conover and company. But you add a little fatigue to the defense, and things can only get uglier. So if you're Tucson right now, I imagine having a conversation. Looks like a timeout for this Badgers team.
And there's been a lot of notable alumni coming out of Chandler High School. You know, Brett Hundley, he was the backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers for a long time. Now he's the backup quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Nikhil Harry and Chase Lucas, they're playing for ASU right now. And then another notable alumni is Jordan Hoyt. He's the backup defensive lineman for ASU, who went to UC Davis, did 2 years of duty there, and decided to fulfill his duties and childhood dream of becoming a Sun Devil. Walked on at Arizona State as a transfer, earned a scholarship this summer, and now he's on the team.
Yeah, it's just one of the things you see with this program. It looks like the offense is going to stay out for Tucson.
Tucson trying to do a quarterback sneak, and they're going to push forward, and I do believe they got it. Ref's going to come out and see where the ball is spotted. It's going to be very close. They might ask for a measurement here. And they're going to move the chains.
Yeah, good push up front there by the offensive lineman at Tucson, just getting enough to get that first down, and that's big because, like I said, even if you're not able to score here or anything along those lines, you at least give the defense a little bit of a rest.
As Montano breaks the huddle, he comes out in the shotgun formation, 3 receivers to his left, 1 receiver to his right. He has a running back to his left, throws the screen pass, the swing route out to his left, and it's going to go nowhere as he gets wrapped up in the backfield. That's going to be Cesar Sanchez on the reception, and it's going to go for about a loss of 3 on the play.
Yeah, good job by the defense that time, just getting in the backfield, making a play, and pushing this Tucson team back.
Cesar Sanchez, the junior running back and linebacker for this Badger team. And Andrew, as I was coming in today, the facilities here at Chandler High School are absolutely phenomenal. The Chandler Center for the Arts, they're having some type of graduation there today, and it's just such a prestigious school and such a prestigious area here in downtown Chandler.
Yeah, there's a lot going on tonight. You mentioned that Arts Center filling up right now. They're doing a lot, and football out here on the gridiron. So there's a packed parking lot coming in, and it's just something like to see, just the community coming out and supporting the local high school, and something that's really cool to see if you ever get a chance to come out to a Chandler football game.
And as expected, the stands are packed. If you can't see here, the stands are packed. The student section's packed. It's really a great environment here at Chandler High School. As Montano motions his running back Sanchez to his right, he has 3 receivers to his right, 1 receiver to his left. Looks over to his right, and he will find his wide receiver Wyatt Campos, and he might not be a gain of anything, might even be a loss of yardage on the play.
Yeah, I think that was a loss on the play, and that time getting in on the tackle was Kentrell Williams. Comes in for Chandler, makes a nice tackle on the outside, and just allows that play to go nowhere.
As they're going to punt the ball away here, and Mark Vargas on the punting doogies for the Badgers tonight. He receives the ball, and it is up and away. It will be caught at about the Chandler 21. He's going to take it up to the 25 to 30. Gets out to about the 33-yard line. And Chandler going to have really good field position for this drive once again.
Yeah, that was a nice job, just avoiding a couple tackles and going north-south, just getting your feet moving up the field and gaining positive yardage for this Chandler Wolves team. So looks like the offense is going to be right back out there in this first quarter where they've been perfect thus far.
Jacob Conover and company come back out. They're going to line up in the ace formation, single back set. They're going to have a flanker right, a wide receiver to his right and left. Takes the snap, and he drops back to pass. Play action on the play, and it will be caught at the 45-yard line. He's going to be out at about the 49-yard line, complete to Braden Lebrock, one of the main receivers we've been talking about tonight here, Andrew.
Yeah, Lebrock just being one of the main targets for this Chandler Wolves team. That time he just runs a good route. Conover's able to find him on the outside and just tiptoes out of bounds. Just that connection has been really strong this far in this ball game.
As Conover hands it off to David Eppinger. Eppinger up the sideline at the 40, the 35, the 30, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Chandler. A great run by David Eppinger on the play. 19-0 Chandler High School with 4:06 left to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and just a huge hole on that right side. offensive line doing their job, just a ton of green grass out in front of them. That creates a 19-0 game, and this Chandler team is rolling.
Spectacular run by David Eppinger as Chandler has the ball lined up to kick the PAT. The kick is up, end over end kick, and it is good. Your score with 4:06 left to go in the first quarter, 20-0 in favor of Chandler High School. A blowout already.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of football left to play. You want to say anything can happen, but it's just a tall task. This is a Chandler team that's been so established for some time. You go up 20-0, and you just feel down for the count already, especially on their home field. It's just a tall task, but there's nothing to take away from Tucson. Like I said, seen crazier things happen, Austin. Still a very tall task, and something the Badgers probably know going in this one is that they come in as the underdog, but it shows what you're made of as a team. You look up the scoreboard, and you're down 20-0, and it's a little bit of a gut check time already in the first quarter.
I shouldn't have said blowout because we have seen crazier things happen, and especially in high school football. We've seen it in college football. I've seen 28-point comebacks. The team comes back 28 points, now not necessarily all the way back. The teams that are usually up by that margin usually end up pulling out the game, but crazier things have happened in the game of football. As Chandler has the ball lined up, and another pooch kick by Tim Boyd, and the ball will... Tucson's going to have the ball at about the 27-yard line. I think they'll mark it at the 26. As Montano and company, they're going to have to march a long ways down the field. But Montano early on, he's looked pretty good. It's not like he's performed poorly. It's just they got to get these drives going. They have to sustain these drives. They just can't get that momentum, it feels like.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, Austin. Just sustaining the drives, I think, is the tallest task, especially against a Chandler defense who's very stout. But Montano doing a good job not turning the ball over, doing anything too crazy thus far.
As Montano completes the ball over the middle for about a 4-yard gain. It's going to be about a second and 5 from the 30-yard line. 3:49 and counting left to go here in the first quarter.
It's a nice short throw there from Montano, just dropping it off on the quick slant. Set up a second down. And, we talk about Chandler offense this far. It's been rolling. This is a team in Tucson that likes to run the football. And I imagine their game plan is a little tougher now in a 20-0 ball game. But as an offense, you're going to try to keep the ball away from Jacob Conover. And that's a tall task, especially at the play call, because it's down to 1. And you're going to have to call a timeout. But I imagine trying to keep the ball away from this Chandler Wolves team was a big key coming in this one. But like I said, it's a little taller task now, down 20-0.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to take a timeout real quick, but we're going to stay right here. What's the mentality for Tucson High coming out of this timeout? You're down 20-0 in the first quarter. What do you think their coach is trying to do to set them up? What do you think Coach Justin Hargraves is trying to preach to this team?
I think Coach Argavis is really just trying to preach to his guys that, it's a 20-0 game, but like I said a little bit earlier, Austin, it's a gut check time. 20-0, you can either fold and, collapse the rest of the game, or you can show some fight and see what you're made of. So right now it's a second and short, 2nd and 5. That's definitely manageable as an offense, and so you just want to go out and do your best to compete with a team that's just one of the best, not only in the state, but in the country.
As Montano has 2 receivers to his right, a flanker left, hands the ball up the middle to his running back, and he's going to get a very nice gain. It's going to be a 3rd and very manageable, a 3rd and short, about a 3rd and 1 here for the Badgers.
Yeah, clock continues to move, and like I said, if you're Tucson, I know you're down 20-0, so you don't want to, get in too much of a clock game, but keeping the ball away from that Chandler offense is definitely key, and giving your defense some rest. So 3rd and 1, I'll be interested to see what they dial up here, if they go straight up the middle or they look to something else, whether it be on the ground or in the air.
As Montano is in the shotgun formation, 2 receivers right, they're going to run the run option to the left, and he pitches it to his running back, and they're going to get a nice first down and more all the way out to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, And a good job that time by Montano, just getting out to the outside. He gets a good push and a good seal on the outside from his line. He's able to just bust the outside, pitches it to the back, and they move the chain. So, like I said, if you're Coach Argavis, that's what you want to see, that fight out of your team, and see if they have any response left in them.
Yeah, and they're certainly moving the ball now. I think that was the biggest play that they've had here tonight, and it came on a run option.
Yeah, still early in the first quarter, so a lot of plays that are left to be made. But for Montano, like I said, just a nice play and a nice pickup on third down.
Absolutely, as Montano has a receiver right and left, 2 running backs there in the backfield, and it looks like it's going to be a false start on Tucson High. It's going to set him back 5 yards.
Yeah, and that's what will drive coaches crazy after a big first down pickup is just the penalties, the laundry on the field, especially against team. It's hard enough to beat Chandler as it is, coming in as an underdog, but when you shoot yourself in the foot with penalties, that'll drive you nuts, especially after big first downs like that last one that this team had, as Montano's not going anywhere in the backfield on that last play.
Montano and company ready to set up here once again. It's going to be second down and about 12.
Says 8 on the scoreboard,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
not right.
a little far pushback.
We'll roll with it here. But Montano has receiver right and left. He has a flanker left, and he has a running back to his right. Gets the snap, hands it right up the middle to Sanchez. Sanchez up the middle to the 45. Still pushing down inside the 45 down to the 44-yard line. Very solid run there by Sanchez.
Yeah, really nice run up the middle. Comes up hobbling a little bit, but just getting the feet churning upfield and getting a little bit of space once he gets past the initial line of scrimmage, and that's a credit to the big guys up front, creating a little bit of a hole for the running back, but doing a good job to set up a third manageable after this drive looked like it could be in trouble after an initial false start call.
As Montano sets up in the 2-back set, 1 flanker to his right, 1 receiver to his left, hands the ball off to Sanchez once again up the middle. Actually, that's going to be number 10, Gary Love. I don't believe there's any relation to Bryce Love.
No relation, I don't believe, Austin. And, of course, Bryce Love being in town last night, taking on ASU. But, yeah, it's going to set up a 4th and 2 now as we're under 40 seconds remaining in this first quarter. So we'll see what this Tucson offense dials up, as it looks like they're going to elect to punt in this situation.
Tucson High sets up with the punt as Mark Vargas is lined up back for Tucson, as we're inside 10 seconds to go here in the first quarter. This is probably going to be the last play of the quarter. And it is fielded by Chandler at about the 15-yard line, running back right to left up the field, and he is down inside the 35-yard line. And there's going to be a flag on the play. Looks like it might be a face mask.
Yeah, at the end of that play, just thrown down a little bit, was a kick returner, and looked like got a piece of the mask as he was cutting up back up the right side of the field. So looks like it'll be some extra yardage here for this Chandler team as we head to the second quarter. And overall, I'd say for Chandler, just a really good start to this game. Ideal, you're pitching a shutout right now. It's 20-0 after 1 quarter. On your senior night, everything going your way right now. It's what we've seen all season from this Chandler team. 7-1. And it is indeed a face mask, by the way, getting back to that last call as we hear it over the PA announcements here. But this is a Chandler team 7-1 on the season. Only loss coming in week 1 to Centennial out of Corona, California. A very good Centennial team. Who they lost to is a 35-13 loss since that time. They're perfect. So 7-1 for the Wolves on the season, and rolling right now with this game heading into the second quarter.
Is Brock? No, not. I was about to say Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy's at Iowa State right now. He just earned himself an upset win against Will Greer and the Mountaineers last week. Big win for Brock Purdy and the Iowa State Cyclones, but it will be a first down and 10 for Chandler as he hands the ball off Down, the ball will be spotted down inside the 40. That'll be the last play of the first quarter. Chandler up early in this one, big, 20-0. But we're going to keep it right here. Andrew, you know, we've seen this Chandler offense drive up and down the field, but what do you think Tucson needs to do to improve in this second quarter?
Well, I think going into the second quarter is, like I said, it's going to sound like a broken record, but, you know, just digging deep and showing a little bit of fight and getting some push up front. I think if they're able to get some pressure on Jacob Conover, whether that comes in the form of a blitz or the defensive line making a couple moves to get the quarterback, I think that will do a lot for this defense and trying to stop this Chandler offense, which has been perfect thus far. And going back to my call at the beginning of the first quarter, I like to correct myself because I didn't realize it was about 1 second on the
good journalism is all about, am I right?
Yeah, there's about 1 second left on the clock. So now we're officially heading to the second quarter. So we'll flip the sides here. But yeah, just an ideal start for Chandler at home, and just the Wolves looking good right now and Conover rolling. That's really, I think, the story of the first quarter. Just some domination on both sides of the ball for this Chandler team.
And Eppinger had that very long run for Chandler early on in the first quarter. See if this Tucson high school team can make some adjustments that they desperately need heading into the second quarter here. As Jacob Conover and company jog out on to the field, he's going to have two receivers to his left, a flanker right, and a running back to his left. Ball is on the 41-yard line, 1st and 10, first play of the second quarter coming at you. As Jacob Conover drops back to pass, looks left, looks right, fires deep down the field, and he finds his man deep inside the 10, all the way down to the 6-yard line. About a 36-yard gain on the play, as Chandler is once again lined up, and they're knocking on the door.
Yeah,
Conover going under center here. And the single back formation hands the ball off right side, and he's going to get tackled up in the backfield.
Yeah.
Carlos Brooks on the run.
Yeah, and part of me, Austin almost tripped over you a little bit on that last call, but that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, just getting a little bit of that pressure in the backfield and getting through the initial line of scrimmage.
Conover lined up in the shotgun, 2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. He has Carlos Brooks to his left, motions a wide receiver to his left, trips left, looks right to left, and he fires into the end zone, and it is incomplete. It looks like it might have been completed, but it was punched out by Tucson High defender.
Yeah.
Jacob Taylor Torrey, the intended target.
Yeah, De La Torre was the intended target, and just a nice play having the defensive back just on his back there. But Conover doing a good job in a tight window as well, just dropping a pass on the money. Just wasn't able to complete it, but nonetheless, they still have a chance here on 3rd down.
As Conover lined up in the shotgun formation, looks left to right, fires the fade route, and it is caught in the end zone. Touchdown Wolves. Very solid throw by Conover, and it is Leibrock on the reception. 5-yard touchdown pass from Conover to Leibrock, and Chandler is up 26-0 with 11:06 left to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, just an absolutely beautiful throw by Jacob Conover, hitting his main man Leibrock in the corner of the end zone, and just pinpoint accuracy, dropping it on the money, and you can see why he has that commitment to BYU and why he had so many D1 offers during his time here in Chandler. He's a guy, Jacob Conover, who had a couple of offers from Alabama, spoke with Nick Saban, and so just had a lot of good offers from all over the country. You see that on display right there, just dropping a pinpoint pass in the back of the end zone. You're not going to see too many high school quarterbacks at this level drop passes like that. A few that come to mind in this area, of course, Spencer Rattler, another one. But, you know, it's very rare to have quarterbacks of that caliber at this level, and it's why so highly talented and so highly recruited.
Yeah, speaking of Spencer Rattler, QB1, the Netflix series, is doing a profile feature on Spencer Rattler. Of course, you know, they go into his home, they film him waking up, going through his morning routine, what he does during the day, They film him at school. They film, obviously, his games. And if you ever go to a game at Pinnacle High School, you actually have to fill out a waiver saying that you agree to be on QB1. And it's just a whole different process, and it's a whole different type of atmosphere over at Pinnacle High School with Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, it's definitely something between these two quarterbacks as that one rolls out of the back of the end zone. But just two highly touted, highly rated quarterbacks who just have so much talent. And while we're talking about senior high school quarterbacks and we're on the Sports 360 AZ live stream, worth noting that keeping up with all that coverage, check out the site because there's a lot of great stories that come both about Chandler and Pinnacle between Jacob Conover and Spencer Rattler. Plenty of coverage there and plenty of good stuff between the site and, of course, the live stream that we have here tonight. But, yeah, just two very talented quarterbacks. They're going to do things at the next level. You're looking at a couple stars of tomorrow, to say the least. They'll be playing on Saturdays next year, and who knows beyond that. But you never know, of course, with a couple pro players that this Chandler program's already turned out. You just never know where those guys could end up down the road. Could be Sunday guys one day.
Yeah. Especially looking at Conover and Rattler. Those guys could 100% be playing on Sundays as Montano throws the ball over to his right and it is incomplete. But back over to Spencer Rattler, I did a story on Spencer last year, and I'll tell you what, this kid couldn't be more humble. His family keeps him grounded. His sister is also an athlete over at Pinnacle High School. She's a volleyball player, and I believe she plays basketball. I'm not totally sure, but she is an athlete over at Pinnacle, and it's just a great family. The mom, Sue, and the dad, Mike, great people.
Definitely, and something you see over here as well, just the various programs, just a lot of good people, a lot of good athletes as well, but just good people all around, and something as this Chandler defense comes up with another stop, but just Chandler family that they have here. It's really a family atmosphere that Coach Iguano's had. You see it here on Friday nights. You see it when they go to state playoffs or that we have coming up. So it's just a really cool dynamic, not only from Pinnacle, but just from this Chandler team and this Chandler family, like I said, that Coach Iguano's established here.
Yes, football in Phoenix specifically is really something you have to witness. The environment's great, and the quality of football itself is just fantastic. Jesus Montano's in the shotgun formation. Two receivers to his right and left. He has a running back to his right, and it is tipped and almost intercepted. Jack Bowers on the pass deflection. He was putting his hands over his head there in frustration. He almost had that one, and I think he was kind of looking at the green grass he had in front of him on that one.
Yeah, Bowers was in the right area, and that's one hole. He might kick himself a little bit over that one. He was so close to an interception, and unless he has a nice breakup on third down, and that's a nice play by the senior linebacker. But one of those where he might kick himself a little bit.
Yeah.
As a defensive guy, you have the opportunity all game. Of course, the number one job is stop everybody. But when you have a chance for those interceptions, always something you want to pick up.
Absolutely. As the punt is up and away, and it will not be fielded by Jacob De La Torre. He was back to receive that punt for Chandler on that last one. Thought he might have had someone from Tucson High run into him, but nonetheless, it will be a first down and 10 for Chandler on their side of the 50, right about at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, and you shorten the field here. Some pretty good field position once again for Jacob Conover, and already a 27-0 game. He can really put the nail in the coffin early on in this ballgame if he's able to establish another scoring drive here. Yeah. And we'll see what he has in store.
Yeah, just to check in on some other scores around the valley. The score is 27-0 right here at Chandler, but it's 27-0 over at Centennial High School. They're defeating their opponent 28-0. As Conover is in the shotgun, he hands the ball off left to David Eppinger. Eppinger up the middle to about the 48-yard line. Actually, that will be Jaheim Brown. Conover over on the far side, down the sideline to the 2015 10-5. Touchdown, Chandler. That pass was complete to DeSalle Puffer on the play. Chandler up 33 to nothing with 9:33 left to go here in the second quarter. And Andrew, I gotta tell you, this is outstanding for Chandler. I expected Chandler to play well, but I don't think I expected them to play this well.
Yeah, off to an ideal start right now. Just rolling. That time just getting a good block on the outside, tiptoeing up the sideline and into the end zone. Another huge play for this Chandler team as the extra points up and through the uprights. Already 34 to nothing with 9:33 left in the second quarter. And really not much you can say. I mean, the scoreboard speaks for itself. This Chandler team just coming out and dominating a little bit right now over this Tucson team who's looking to do anything in any possible way to try to answer back.
Another fantastic pass there by Jacob Conover to his receiver, DeSalle Buffer, the senior 6'4", 180-pound wide receiver for the Wolves. Streaks down the sideline and puts the Wolves up 34 to nothing.
Yeah, like I said, just an ideal start right now. Conover and company rolling. We'll see, as this game wears on, it is senior night, but if this score continues the way it's going and if this game continues the way it's going, if they give anybody else a little bit of shot last weekend, put in the backup quarterbacks and using the backup, seeing what they can do, and as this one rolls on, we'll see if Coach Aguano has that option.
Tim Brown sends the ball end-over-end kick into the end zone for a touchback. Now, we've seen him pooch kick pretty much every single kick of this game. That was the first touchback, I believe, as Montano and company come back out onto the field, try to establish their offense and trying to get some points on the board.
Yeah, in the last two kicks, you talked about the kickoffs, Austin, but they've been touchbacks, and so good job of just kicking those out of the back of the end zone and getting the ball to the 20-yard line.
As Montano has one receiver to his left, one receiver to his right. He has a flanker left, and also his running back, Cesar Sanchez, to his right. Montano drops back the pass, and it was a screen for his wide receiver over on the far sideline. He's going to be a gain of about 7 on the play.
Yeah, nice little screenplay that time by this Tucson offense. Just setting that one up and getting a nice block upfield as Sanchez, and he's able to push forward.
Is Chandler making the substitutions? I tell you what, if just based on the way I've seen Chandler play tonight, they might be going for another state championship this season. I don't see anyone stopping them. By the way they're playing tonight. Montano, 2 running backs on each side of him. He has a wide receiver on each side of him, and as well hands the ball off to his running back off the left side. And it's going to be David Lopez on the run for the Badgers. It's going to be about 3rd and 2 for Tucson. 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it's a 34-0 game, obviously, but this Tucson offense, they haven't had a lot of bad situation 3rd downs, to be honest. It's been a lot of 3rd and shorts, and this Chandler defense has just done a good job of staying stout and really locking in on these 3rd and short situations.
As Montano gets ready for his offense to line up, and I believe there's going to be a timeout for Tucson. We're going to keep it here once again, but maybe Justin R. Graves is going to talk to this Tucson high school offense and trying to get something going here early on. They desperately need some points with 8:44 left before half.
Yeah, and 8:44 on the scoreboard right now is what the time reads. Already no timeouts for this Tucson team. So they have a couple times where I'm not sure they saw the play clock or knew which play was coming in, and so they had to call a couple in that situation, and they call their 3rd already with still 8:44 left in this ball game. So, this team right now is a 3rd and short situation. Just trying to make a play and keep this drive alive as this continues to play out.
As Montano and company come back out onto the field, he's going to have 2 receivers to his right, one receiver to his left. He's going to have a tight end left and a running back to his right. Hands the ball off up the middle to his receiver, to his running back, David Lopez. Lopez maybe gets a gain of 1 on the play. So 4th down coming up for the Badgers, and they just can't seem to sustain a drive against this very, very talented Wolves defense.
Yeah, and it's another case of a stop on just 3rd and short. I mean, it's really been 3rd and 5 or less situations. I mean, just short yardage situations that Chandler's really been able to dig deep on these drives, and it's been able to cut away Tucson's drives and just limit their offense thus far in this game. And that's a credit just to the guys up front getting a good push on those 3rd down plays.
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. As Tucson gets ready to punt this one away, and it is away. Spiraling kick as Chandler fields it at the 37-yard line. He gets up the sideline to about the 50, and he gets absolutely licked at the 50-yard line. Good return on the play. Chandler going to be set up in perfect field position on the 50-yard line for Jacob Conover. He's been, in a lack of a better word, incredible tonight.
Just a little bit, just a couple touchdown passes here, a couple touchdown passes there, just making things happen. And that's why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the state.
Yep, just doing his job. He comes out, single back set, under center for Conover, hands the ball off right, up the middle, and it's going to be DeCarlos Brooks at the 20, 15, 10, 5, and he is to the house. Another Chandler High School touchdown. Takes the lead to 40-0 with 7:34 left to go here in the first half.
Yeah, and I'm looking over the scoreboard. They shot up some more fireworks after that touchdown run. They're going to run out of those, Austin, the way this offense is rolling right now. DeCarlos Brooks goes to the right side, cuts it back. The offensive line does a great job of just pushing to the right, creating a hole. And, I mean, they could have drove a car through that left side of a hole, Austin. I mean, he cuts it back upfield, has everywhere in the world to run, and just busted in the end zone. A great job of the offensive line just getting that push, establishing themselves as a presence. Like I said, they're going to run out of those fireworks right now.
Yeah, the pyrometric team is sweating right now as I would say they're probably more than halfway through their fireworks, Andrew, but you hit the nail on the head. This team is just, they are who we thought they were, in the words of Dennis Green. But yeah, this Chandler offense, they're proving why they're one of the best in the country, not just in the state of Arizona, but one of the most high-octane offenses in this country. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, they're ranked 35th in the country, not in the state, but in the country. They are number 1 in the country according to Max Preps. And Sean Aguano, in his long tenured history here at Chandler High School, has developed a stout team year in and year out, and he's developed another one here tonight.
Yeah, and I look over that Chandler sideline right now, and it's Jalen Burbank and Mikey Keene getting loose. They are the 2 other quarterbacks on this Chandler roster. I imagine they might see some action later on in this game. But you mentioned it, Austin, just utter dominance thus far, something Coach Aguano has just continued with this Chandler team and throughout this season. You look at their wins, and they're not, just cheap wins. They're barely sliding by wins. The scoreboard last week against Basha, 62-14. They play at home against Brophy, 56-7. Really, the closest game they've had this year has been at Perry, a 45-34 win, but really just blowout victories minus that one Centennial loss, the only blemish on that slate of games. It's just really been a dominating year for this Chandler team, and they just continue to put everything together and work in harmony.
Andrew, you're hitting the nail on the head so many times tonight, I couldn't even say it better myself.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it.
Montano drops back to pass. He's in the shotgun offense, and he drops it off to his receiver over on the right side. Gain of very little, if any, on the play. Probably a gain of about 1. 2nd down and 9 coming up.
Yeah, and like that, 41-0 here in the first half. Your Tucson, try to get the ball rolling a little bit. This is the time. I know it's still only the first half, but this is a tall task already going in this game. It's maybe a time where you like to experiment, see some things, maybe some things as you try to keep a record over 500 and make a late bid at a postseason push, but just trying to maybe switch some things up, see what you have in store, and what your team is made of a little bit.
Yeah, Tucson, they're 5-3 on the season, 2-1 in section. But yeah, as you said, I think the main goal for this Tucson High team is just to keep, like you said, keep the record over 500. They're 5-3, like I said, right now, and it's not like they're a bad team. This Chandler offense and this Chandler team in general, they're just that good.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just a really high caliber team and an elite team in the state of Arizona and at the high school level. If you're Tucson, you grow from it. I mean, these are games. You look at the scoreboard, it builds character a little bit when you have games like these that are against really good opponents. It certainly can humble you when it's 41-0 as well, but just getting the experience of playing a really good ball club like this and playing a Chandler team who has guys who, like I said, you could see on Sunday eventually down the line. Still very early in careers, but you could see a couple guys here on Sundays later down the line. But it's just a good experience. You get a chance to go out and see what you're made of as a team. So while it might obviously suck to be down 41-0, it takes a little bit of time and just getting to find out who you are as a player and who you are as a team when you go up against these really good opponents. Scheduling tough is always a good thing, not only for this Tucson team, but for any opponent, whether that be the high school, collegiate, or professional ranks in football.
Yeah, this is definitely a learning experience for this Tucson team. As Jacob Conover and company get ready to come back out. Punt fielded by Jacob De La Torre. We maybe see some backups here coming up, but I think they're going to keep the first stringers in for the most part. Oh, and we will see some backups here. We're going to see Mikey Keene in for the first time tonight for this Chandler team. Conover's night is done as Mikey Keene takes the snap, hands it off right up to middle to DeCarlos Brooks, and DeCarlos Brooks off to the races, and he is tackled down at the 36-yard line. I think they're going to mark his knee down at the 37.
I can't see the number. That actually was not Brooks on the carry. I can't catch the number. These jerseys.
Yeah, I was going to say the numbers on these jerseys look very blended together.
From a player's perspective, love the jerseys.
Oh,
great look.
The color scheme is incredible.
From the broadcaster's perspective, not so fun. You know, the black scheme, the black numbers with the blue jersey makes our job a little bit more difficult. So I apologize, as we said, if we mix up the numbers a little bit, just because that last call wasn't Brooks on the carry. But like I said, it's a little tough to see with the jersey alignment and how they're set up.
We can do what we can.
Got to get the binoculars going, Austin. Get the binoculars going. Yes. Zoom in on them a little bit.
I tend to save those for Sun Devil Stadium, but apparently I should have brought him here tonight. As Mikey Keene passes over to DeSell Puffer on the play. First down, or it's actually they're gonna mark it short. It's gonna be a 3rd and 1. As Mikey Keene gets the call from the sideline. As Mikey Keene has 3 receivers left, 1 receiver right. He looks over the middle for Puffer, and he does find Puffer, and Puffer is down inside the 5, down into the 1. And there's an injured Badger on the play, but Mikey Keene looking very good here early on.
Yeah, and Mikey Keene, this is a good opportunity for him. Obviously, coming this game as some early fireworks go off. No touchdown on the play.
Yeah, no touchdown, but the Pyrometrics got a little happy there.
Like I said, they've had a busy night, so I imagine they've been ready to shoot those off at all times.
Yeah.
And just let one go a little too early.
Literally fireworks here tonight for Chandler High School.
Offensively and in the air. So Mikey Keene enters the game for this Chandler team. He's a sophomore quarterback on this ball club, 5'11", 160 pounds, and has a good makeup. You know, I've seen him warming up on the sideline last couple throws. Has a pretty good arm, and he showcased on that last play. Came back due to a penalty, but he's going to go right back in the air.
As Mikey Keene finds his receiver over the middle, and it is another touchdown for the Chandler Wolves. Absolutely dominating here in the first quarter. 47-0 with 5:44 left to go in the second quarter, and Andrew, they're just padding stats and running up the score.
Yeah, 47-0, like I said, speaks for itself. Only so much you can say it. The scoreboard speaks for itself. I mean, Mikey Keene just dropping another dime over the middle of the field. The offense is just rolling right now. And if you're Tucson, it's just tough to stop. But at any level, even, backups come on the field. This is a Chandler program that they replenish. A couple guys leave. Talk about Drake Anderson going to Northwestern and more talent rolling through. But even backups of the backups could probably play at a lot of places. It's a really talented program. They replenish the talent that they have, and they really get developed well under Coach Aguano's system. So even when a guy leaves a program, the backups, they have an opportunity. They have a chance to play, and you're seeing that with guys like Mikey Keene, who just steps up right now with those touchdown passes.
Absolutely. Nailed it right on the head there, Andrew. And I think we're going to really dive into the depth chart of this Chandler High School team, as the score is 48-0 with 5:44 left to go in the second quarter. As Tim Boyd lines up the kick to kick it away to Tucson to see if the Badgers can get anything, can muster any points here before the half. Boyd lined up, looks over to each ref, and sends it off. End over end kick. And it's going to bounce into the end zone for a touchback, as the ball will be out to the 20-yard line for Jesus Montano and company to see if they can muster any type of offensive production here with 5:44 left to go.
And this is aside from just the X's and O's of the football stuff. I'm looking at Tim Boyd down the field. Obviously, 3 touchbacks now. Very nice night kicking game with the kicking game as well. Minus the one, missed point after, but it's nothing to talk about now as it's a 48-0 game. But Tim Boyd, I like the cleats. Yeah, he has gold cleats, a little bit of a mix with the pink socks. But I was looking down at the kickoff, and those stand out to you a little bit. But I like the cleats. It's a good look. I just wanted to point that out. My fashion sense coming in the front. You don't get that everywhere, Austin.
When you're up 48-0, I think you kind of deserve a little shine to your shoes, as that pass is fired over and incomplete to a wide receiver, Wyatt Campos. Jose Montano. It's going to be second down and 10 from the 20-yard line. 5:06 and counting to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, still 5:06 left in the second quarter as the clock begins to roll under 5 minutes. See if Montano can just get any life into this offense for Tucson. Obviously, game looking out of reach right now, but just see if he can inspire this team at all and make a couple plays.
And Montano with the late pitch over to his running back. Out of bounds. Crisal on the run. As it's going to be a third down at about 6 for the Tucson Badgers. Tucson making that 2-hour trip up north here to the Valley of the Sun, as Jesus Montano lines up in the shotgun formation, trips right, one receiver to his left, one running back to his right. Drops back to pass. Jose Montano looking over to his right, and it will be just thrown to the outside shoulder and incomplete. It's going to be a 4th down and 6 for the Badgers. You would assume that they would punt the ball here, try and flip the field here to give the ball to the Chandler Wolves with just under 3:40 left to go in the first half. Try and prevent them from putting this into the 50s.
Definitely.
Before halftime.
Definitely, and on that last route, wasn't sure if the receiver slipped or if Montano just cut the route off a little early, but looked like a little either slip or miscommunication between quarterback and receiver. Sets up a 4th down. So Wolves, seems like they've been playing from the 50-yard line all game. They haven't used half the field, especially in the second quarter. I feel like everything has been around midfield, and that's because the defense has been stout as well on the other side of the ball. Talk about the offense, how good they've been, but the defense pitching a shutout right now as well. And it's allowed the offense to play a relatively easy field position game, just getting the ball, like I said, near the 50-yard line at all times. So You talk about this Tucson team. Mentioned they started off the season 5-0. They actually knocked off Maryville 63-6 to start the year, then defeated Pueblo, so they're off to a good start. But as the season comes down to the wire, they've lost their last three. Looks as if right now, I know it's only the first half, but they're on their way to possibly a fourth consecutive victory. It becomes tough for this Badgers team, and we'll see what they have in store throughout the rest of the season with only a couple of games remaining.
As Mikey Keene lines up with a wide receiver to each side as a player from Chandler oddly runs onto the field at the last second there. It's going to be a flag, obviously, on Chandler for 12 men on the field and illegal substitution. Trying to get these subs some reps, and you're going to have some kinks every now and again with some of these subs, is trying to get the right formation, trying to get some kids their reps, as was the case there, but can't have more than 11 on the field there.
Yeah, that was a little odd. It was literally as the play was about to take off, the player steps on the field, and the ref just looks to his right, and there's an extra blue jersey just way out of formation. So the flag's tossing that one. It's a little bit of a miscommunication, but you mentioned it, Austin. Hit it right on the head, as you said. It's just, the with the players coming in, rotating in, becomes a little bit more difficult, and scheduling assignments, things like that. So just a little bit of a mishap, but nonetheless, looks like Chandler's just going to run this one down, take a knee, and head to the locker room with a 48-point lead.
And just a testament to this Chandler team. Like I said earlier, this Tucson team isn't playing bad. This Chandler team is just absolutely incredibly talented on every single facet of the ball, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, there's a reason why they're ranked number 1 in Arizona and 35th nationally for a reason. There's a reason. As this talented Chandler Wolves team's going to go into halftime up 48-0 on the Tucson Badgers. As Mikey Keene gets ready to take another knee, 30 seconds and counting. One more snap, and the victory formation should do it to send it to halftime. Not quite the end of the game, but yeah, they're going to take a knee, send it to halftime. And Andrew, before we take a break here, what is your first overall assessment other than just Chandler playing great?
Well, I'd like to say something else, but
yeah, go ahead by all means.
I'd like to say something else, but kind of what you said, Austin. Just Chandler playing great. It starts with Jacob Conover coming out, having a great first half, getting this team started, and just the battle in the trenches, the offensive line, defensive line doing a really good job getting pushes, winning battles. That sets everything up. Sets everything else up for the offense. They're just all-around solid performance, all three sides of the ball, special teams, defense, offense. All look super good for Chandler, and it's what you expect out of number 1 team in the state and a powerhouse in the state of Arizona. So just a good overall first half. Good's an understatement. A great first half for the Chandler Wolves team.
Outstanding. And is there anything else you wanted to add before we send it to break?
I think that's about it, Austin. Just what we got looks like we'll have a good halftime performance.
Well, we're going to take a little break here. 48-0 once again is your score. We're at halftime here with Chandler and Tucson. We'll be right back. hello and welcome into Austin Field here at Chandler High School. I finished up my play-by-play duties for tonight in the first half. I'm going to toss it back over to Andrew Bell to take over for the second half. Andrew?
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate it. 48-0 is the score that we have as we begin the second half. A Chandler team that is absolutely rolling right now as you look up at the scoreboard. 48-0, as I said. Jacob Conover having a big game. He is likely going to take off the shoulder pads in the second half and enjoy and sit back and watch his teammates try to take care of the rest of this one. We'll see if Tucson has anything left in store, but with that, it looks like we're going to get the second half kickoff just underway as the Wolves get set to put it on the tee, and we'll get ready for this second half.
Yeah, Tim Boyd with the kickoff duties tonight. He's got, like you mentioned earlier, Andrew, those gold cleats, very clean gold cleats. But if you go to Chandler, like I said, and you're surrounded by all the talent at Chandler High School, then I think you kind of have the room to say and the room to wear those golden cleats.
I like the cleats, and with that, the gold cleats are going to dig into this football and kick it up into the Arizona night sky, where it's picked up and brought out past the 20-yard line. It's going to get out to the 21, and that is where this Tucson offense will set up shop. Quarterback for this Tucson team is Joe Montano. He's going to look to get things going here in this second half, as this one's just past the 21-yard line, and this Chandler defense will likely see some second-team players come into this ball game and look to make a couple plays. Some other notable games from around the valley tonight. Of course, we have this one in front of us with Chandler in control right now, but Perry beating Hamilton right now 35-7, and that's a Hamilton team who this Chandler team will see very soon. And the Battle of Arizona Avenue takes place next weekend. That's at Hamilton. I imagine Chandler will be ready for that one. But as for right now, it's Tucson and Chandler. That'll be Montano in the shotgun set. He's going to hand it off up the middle. This is a nice run up the middle by number 2. That's a Marcus Latimer. He's up into the open field and gets a nice gash run to start the second half for the Badgers.
Yeah, Chandler was playing zone on that last play, which opened up a huge gap right up the middle. You can see this whole secondary is playing about 5 to 7 yards off, which is your ideal length for playing either cover 2, or cover 3. And in this case, they were playing their cover 3.
So Montano in the shotgun set has one running back to his right. He's going to take the snap and look for an option play. He's going to keep it, and he's going to push forward for another nice run, and it looks like he might be near the first down marker near midfield.
Yeah, I think at this point Chandler's just trying to keep everything in front of him, which is why they're playing that zone defense, as I previously mentioned. Yeah, they're just trying to keep everything in front of them, not allow anything big.
And for the sake of transparency, we'll have a moment here. I said Joe Montano. That's my mistake. Jesus Montano coming out of the second half, so wrong J there for me. But nonetheless, he's going to get back and set up the offense here on a 2nd and 1 for this Tucson team. Montano in the shotgun set has one running back to his right, 2 receivers out to his right. He's going to hand it off up the middle. It's Latimer once again. He's close to the first down marker. Looks like there'll be no gain on the play, but we'll have to see where the refs mark it. Latimer stuffed going up the middle. It looks like it's going to be 3rd and short once again for this Tucson team. And like we said, we've talked about this, Austin, but Tucson team, it's not like they've had 3rd and eternities tonight. They've had a lot of 3rd and shorts. It's just been this Chandler defense on the other end that's done a really good job of standing them up when it matters the most.
Yeah, Montano on the season, he's completing 45% of his passes, 670 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So not the best, but he definitely has some room to improve.
There's the handoff up the middle part. It's a fake. Montano's going to throw it away, and it's intercepted, going back up to the 40 to 35, all the way down to the 31-yard line. It's Montano who's going to make the tackle, but an interception for this Chandler Wolves teams. Can't see the number, but we'll get it to you as soon as we hear it. And that's Tim Boyd, the kicker, the person with the cleats we were mentioning earlier. He comes up with the kick, and another dazzling play for this Chandler Wolves team, this time on the defensive side of the ball, their first turnover forced of the game. It's hard to believe that, with a score like this, no turnovers, anything like that, but that's the first turnover of the game, and Boyd comes up with the interception, and now the offense will step back out on the field.
Yeah, the golden cleats turn into the golden hands as Jacob Conover and company come right back onto to the field and get ready to set up shop here on the 30-yard line.
I like that one, Austin. Kind of like the Notre Dame, you know, the gold helmets. I know you're a South Bend guy, so.
Golden over.
So the gold cleats, gold helmets, and a gold performance from this Chandler team tonight. We'll cut it off with the puns now before people get too irritated with us. But now in the shotgun, it's going to be Mikey Keene. He came in the second quarter for this Chandler team. Did a pretty good job as well. Already has a touchdown pass and a couple completed passes. He's going to hand this one off to the left. This one's hand off to Tyler. Tyler's spun to the ground. Looked like he might have got a tackle near the face mask. There's no call on the play, though, and there's no gain as well. Well, that was Tyler on the carry. As he said, Sean Aguano most likely going to throw a lot of guys out here in the second half with a 48-0 lead. Give some guys some opportunities, and the guy for players who are maybe underclassmen or haven't played as much this season, it's a good opportunity for them here in the second half.
Absolutely, and Mikey Keene coming into this game, he had only attempted 6 passes, and he had completed 5 of those. One for a touchdown and another that incompletion was an interception, but I mean technically a completed pass in one word of the sense.
Keene's going to hand it off up the middle. It's Tyler once again. Tyler bounces outside and looks like there's no gain again for this Chandler Wolves team. Clock continues to roll here in this third quarter. 48-0 lead in favor of Chandler. It's going to set up third and a 13 for Chandler. Keene will be in the shotgun set. We'll see what Coach Aguano elects to dial up here with a huge lead, if he elects to stay on the ground or if he lets Keene throw the ball once more. Keene has 2 receivers out to his right, 1 to his left. Like he's going to relay something to the offense, a possible audible. This third and long situation. Keene letting this one wind down. Play clock under 10. He's in the shotgun set. And he's going to hand it off once again. Here's a handoff to the halfback. He's going to push forward. He's near the first down marker. It looks like he has a first down. On the handoff, number 42, Nicholas Nesbitt on the carry. So Nesbitt gets a nice gain, and he's near the markers. I think it's going to be a first down for Chandler.
Yeah, very nice carry there by the sophomore. Running back, 5'8", 170. Very solid run there to keep this drive alive.
Yeah, really nice run there on the outside by Nesbitt, and so he keeps it alive, and Mikey Keene will continue to hold the ball as this play clock continues to wind down here in this third quarter. Mentioned some other scores around the valley. We'll get to those in just a second. As I said, Perry beating Hamilton right now at halftime, 35-7. We'll get to a couple more in just a moment as Mikey Keene's in the shotgun set. Ball placed on the right hash. He's going to hand it off to Nesbitt once again. Nesbitt pushes forward. It's a gain of about 2 on the play.
It looked like it might have been a face mask on that last play. But I think the ref, it's kind of at the point of the game where you're not really trying to add any more insult to injury here. And decided to keep that flag in his pocket. It was a clear face mask, but it was not called on the play.
So 2nd and 8 now for this Chandler Wolves offense. If you're wondering who the third string quarterback is for this Chandler Wolves team, it's Jalen Burbank. He's a senior, and on the senior night, imagine you might see a little bit of action just coming up a little bit. But right now it's Mikey Keene. Once again, he's just waiting for that play clock to wind down. They're going to chew up as much clock as they can. Coach Aguano not trying to run things up here in this third quarter. And it's going to be 2nd and 8. Here's the handoff to Nesbitt. Nesbitt pushes forward. He pushes, bounce off tackle, pushes forward. He's down inside the 10-yard line, and another nice run by Nesbitt, just bouncing off a couple tackles and pushing it upfield.
Yeah, Nesbitt did a nice job of bouncing that one to the outside, getting that outside edge and getting that first down on the play.
So a nice run by Nesbitt, and Chandler offense continues to roll. And this is a little bit of a difficult situation, Austin, where the 48-0 game, and Coach Aguano, certainly a class act, doesn't want to try to run anything up late in the ball game, and it's that balance for a coach of, trying not to run anything up, trying not to do anything disrespectful, anything along those lines. It's a tough.
And some people might say he's running up the score, but at the same time, it's like the other team has to stop him. This is the second stringers going up, I believe, against the first team. And it's just, You got to stop him.
There's Nesbitt once again. He bends off one tackle, but then he's going to be wrapped up by a couple white jerseys. So nice play by the Tucson defense down near the goal line, stopping Nesbitt in the backfield. But as you said, it's difficult from a player's perspective as well when, you know, you have a game that's a blowout. You can never tell your players, hey, stop playing, but at the same time, you don't want to run the score up, anything along those lines. And so, as I said, it's a balancing act as a coach in a game like this, as we're now under 3 minutes remaining in this third quarter. O'Keen's going to get the play call from the sideline, relay it to the offense, taking all the time in the world as the play clock's now under 15 seconds. Ball placed on the Tucson 6-yard line. Keen in the shotgun set has two backs to his right, or one to his right, one to his left. Here's a push up the middle, and it's a touchdown for Jeremiah Tyler. And just like that, it's a 54-0 Chandler. They continue to pour it on. Tyler rushes it in from 6 yards out, and this Wolves team continues to pour it on, and more fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Tucson at this point, they just have to stop them. This is the second stringers for Chandler, and I mean, not to take anything away from Chandler, that was a nice run. But if you're Tucson, you're just trying to force at least a stop and then try and turn it into your favor and trying to get some points. I mean, if you're Tucson right now and if you're Coach Argraves, your mission right now is just to put some points on the board. You don't want to travel all this way and put up an egg on the scoreboard. So I think the goal now for this Badger team is just to muster some type of points.
Definitely, and the kick's up and through the uprights. 55-0 Chandler now, and now we look ahead, talk about some other games around the valley. We mentioned this one definitely in favor of Chandler. They're going to run away with this one here as the running clock continues here in the second half. Worth noting that as well. The play clock continues to run, or the game clock, continues to run throughout the second half. So we're already under 120 left in this third quarter. This one's going to fly by. But just, some other games around the valley tonight. Basha in a tight one, 17-14 with a Brophy. That one's at the half.
High-profile game right there.
Definitely. Basha, a team who got beat by this Chandler team last week. Talked about Hamilton. Chandler go on the road to play their arch rivals next weekend in the Battle of Arizona Avenue. Looking for some other games around the area. Liberty tied with O'Connor right now, 21-21. Highland leads Queen Creek 17-7. And Centennial up 42-0 right now in the third quarter.
Yeah. Centennial, one of the premier teams here in Arizona.
So here's the kickoff. Number 14, that's Delgado. He's going to push up, get near the 20-yard line.
We've seen a lot of kickoffs here tonight. All of them by Chandler.
Yeah, a lot of kickoffs, a lot of fireworks. Just a whole lot of Chandler tonight. I mean, nothing much else they can do, and it's going to bring us to the fourth quarter with that running clock. And like I said, this one's going to fly by through the rest of this one.
I was just about to add that third quarter that did not feel like a 12-minute quarter, but once again, it is a running clock. You don't want to prolong this game any more than it has to be with the score the way it is. But you never know. Let's see what this second-string Chandler team can do, and see if Mikey Keene can keep this offensive production ahead.
And I mean, that was technically a 12-minute quarter, Austin. It just that the 12 minutes, it was a literal 12-minute.
It was legit, like 12 minutes.
Yeah, so Chandler up 55-0 as we head into the fourth. Looking at this Wolves team, I want to ask you a little bit, Austin. We've talked this one about to be in the record books just in a little bit, and Hamilton looming next week. But Chandler obviously a lock for the playoffs, #1 team in the state, everything rolling their way. What does this team have to do to kind of secure and get another state title under Coach Sean Aguano and what he's been able to establish here, kind of just going into the playoffs? It's tough, especially when you know you have the target on your back.
And there's nothing I would really say that they need to improve on. It's just sharpen some things. Sharpen your defensive coverage in the secondary. Your front seven's doing pretty good. Stopping the run game, they've done a pretty good job of that. And for Jacob Conover, just look over some film look and see what you could have done better in the passing game, and just go from there. I don't think there's anything that really stood out in terms of things that they really did bad. They've, of course, powered. This is a powerhouse team in Chandler High School, so there's obviously a lot of good that came out of this game. But there's always things that you can improve on, as any head coach from any level of football is going to tell you. But it's just refining things. You know, you just sharpen your skills, sharpen the fundamentals of certain things, and I think they'll be right back in that state championship game.
And I think adding just the attention needle, sharpening the iron, kind of sharpening the edges, continuing to sharpen the edges, like you said, as this one's completed on the right side. Pass from Montano. He has his intended man. He's all the way out near the 40-yard line. So a completion for this Tucson team. And like I said, kind of just sharpening everything up going in the state playoffs. Obviously, Coach Seguano has been in this position before. This is a team that has been in these shoes, has had so much talent roll through this program, so much Division I talent. They've been here before, and I imagine returners like Jacob Conover, kind of the veteran leaders on this team, are going to reiterate that to some of the younger guys, is just what it takes to be a championship team and to have a championship mindset. Nonetheless, here's the handoff from Montano. He's going to fake the handoff, throw to the right side, and he overshoots his intended receiver on a screen pass. Goes out and out of bounds. Going to set up a 2nd and 10 for this Tucson offense.
As we see the backups here on defense for Chandler, I'm going to mention one thing for Matthew Polomau, the transfer defensive lineman from Mountain Point, Chandler High School's rival. His brother Isaiah is actually playing at USC. He was injured last year as a freshman, but Isaiah is at USC, and his brother getting a lot of Division I offers as well. And, you know, just to add to the overall talent of this Chandler team, you get a really talented player in Matthew Polomau and the Polomau family. It's a large family. I was at one of the Polomau's games at Mountain Point, and their family is extended to the exact point of the word. They have a very large family and a very talented family, to say the least.
Yeah, that has to be a great dynamic, just having that much talent and that much family support. And as we see another flag, things starting to get a little more ugly. Back-to-back false starts for this Tucson offense. And believe it or not, Austin, look at the scoreboard. This actually has been a relatively clean game. Not too many penalties, not too many turnovers, minus the one Tucson interception. But in a 55-0 game, you usually see some ugly stuff, some turnovers, some flags. There really hasn't been too much of that.
Yeah, it's been a very clean game, and you always like to see that. It makes the game, it makes the flow of the game go by so much smoother.
Here's the keeper from Montano. He's going to push forward, get pushed back in the backfield, and set up a long 3rd down. And Tucson just looking to lick their wounds and possibly get out of here in this 4th quarter. A long trip as well, all the way from down south up north here from Tucson to Chandler. So I imagine a long bus ride ahead of them back down south. But like I said, there's nothing to take away from Badgers team. It's just a different animal when you come into town to play Chandler. Just a very high caliber ball club that's just good, and good's an understatement. Like I said, elite really year in and year out. There's Montano. He's going to drop back to pass. Has nowhere to go. Has a couple defenders on him. He fumbles. See who picks it up. Is a white jersey who falls on it, but a fumble on the play. Good job by the Chandler defensive front getting in there with 2 blue jerseys, wrapping up the quarterback and punching one out. Nonetheless, is going to set up 4th down for this Chandler team. And that will cause a punt, and they're going to get good field position once again.
And as I said in my call against ASU against Oregon State, that ball came out. There's a fumble on the play, but Tucson falls right back on it, and they're going to flip the field here in hopes of stopping this highly talented and highly touted Chandler High School football team.
Yeah, and as the band plays over us, that actually isn't it the Chandler band. Give credit to the Tucson band that's made the trip all the way out here to Chandler. They've had a couple good performances. They performed pregame. Both bands tonight, not only on the football field performing, but both bands doing a really good job. As this one's kicked up and in the air. No fumble on the play. Little extra pushes and shoves after the whistle, but nothing too serious. A nice fair catch there by De La Torre, and that will set up the offense for the Chandler Wolves, who look like they're going to bring in their senior quarterback. I mentioned that's Jalen Burbank. Thought he'd see some action tonight on senior night, and he's going to step in the ball game for this Wolves team. And pardon me, I said Burbank just as I say that, of course. He steps out on the field and takes a step back to the sideline. The good old announcer's jinx there. But they'll send Keene back out on the field for this Chandler Wolves offense.
Hey, it happens to the best of us.
So Keene.
Broadcasters are humans too.
So Keene with the ball on the right hash. Clock under 6:25 and counting now. Keene in the shotgun set. He's going to wait for that play clock to wind down. Imagine just some handoffs and looking to ice this one out. No, I wouldn't even say ice. This one's been cooled off for some time now. Keene in the shotgun set. He's going to hand it off. It's number 10, Tyler. Tyler bounces back upfield, pushes out to the 30, cuts it back, and now runs out of bounds. A nice run by Tyler, who's come in, had a nice second half. He already has a touchdown, and he has another nice run there for a first down.
And Tyler, he played running back on that last play, but he also plays tight end for the Wolves.
So Tyler with a nice run there. Ball inside the 25-yard line. Clock under 5:40 now. Keene's going to get the play call from the sideline. As that band, as I mentioned, of Tucson continues to play in the background, setting a nice scene for a beautiful Friday night here in the Chandler area. As Keene gets the handoff, he's going to hand it off up the middle. It's number 32.
That ball came out.
And there's a fumble in the play. Pardon me, look down to check the number as Tate. That was Nesbitt who pushed forward on the play. I checked down to look number and the ball squared out. So that's why I have my play-by-play man here with me, Austin, just in case anything like that happens. So.
Yeah, I do what I can for the team.
So under 4:40 remaining now here in this second half in the fourth quarter. Chandler looking to just run this clock out as the clock continues to wind down.
The DJ here for Chandler has done a fantastic job. The songs have been what the kids say these days, it's straight fire.
Yeah, we'll get to the next one just after this next play by Keene as he awaits the snap. The shotgun set is two backs in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Nesbitt once again. Nesbitt cuts back up the middle. He's into the 20, cuts back at the 15, spins off a tackle and is all the way into the end zone. What a run by Nicholas Nesbitt. He bounces off a couple tackles, makes a couple moves, and there's some more fireworks, folks. 61-0 Chandler here in the Valley. What a run.
Holy smokes, was that a really good spin move. Watching this one back home, holy cow. If we could get an instant replay, I'd like to see that one. That was incredible.
Heck of a run by Nesbitt, just keeping the feet churning, making all sorts of moves, looking like he's using the Madden sticks out there just to make a couple cutbacks.
Circle button right there. It's a great run by the 5'8", 170-pound sophomore for the Chandler Wolves. That was incredible by Nesbitt.
So 61-0, the extra point pending. Should be 62-0 Chandler with under 3:10 remaining now. So everyone's gotten in on the action tonight. Nesbitt has a touchdown. Jacob Conover did his job. DeCarlos Brooks did his. This Chandler team on its way to an 8-1 record as the kick is up and through the uprights with 2:50 remaining in this game. So while we have a moment, talked about the band, talked about the DJs, talk about Chandler Band, I have one other thank you, and that's to our awesome production crew tonight this evening as well. Chandler High School, our student production crew has been awesome. They've been so courteous to have us here and just doing a great job running the production and the stream here tonight. So we'd just like to thank them because, like I said, they've done a great job this evening.
And I'd like to extend your extended thank you because they really do a good job of getting the production set up, and all we have to really do is show up and broadcast the game. So that makes it a lot easier for us. Because we're at Blaze Radio, our student-run radio station at the Cronkite School, we're used to having to set up the board, we're having to set up everything by ourselves. So when we come here, a whole lot easier transition for us just being able to show up and do our thing. So again, a big thank you to the Chandler High School production team.
Yeah, just an awesome crew who, like I said, has been super courteous and welcoming of us. And like Austin said, we just have to sit down and babble on the mics, I guess is what I say. But they do all the hard work. So thank you to them this evening. It's been a great showing, obviously, for this Chandler Wolves High School. And the Wolves on their way to an 8-1 record here in a 62-0 ball game.
Now just under 1:30 left in the fourth quarter. Getting ready to wrap things up here. Chandler's going to come away with this one pretty handedly, but looking forward, this is going to be one of the best teams in the country and a perennial competitor in the state championship game.
Definitely. Here's the kick return. It's brought back upfield, and it's down near the 26-yard line. That's where this Tucson offense will set up. Clock under 1 minute remaining now. We'll see if Tucson even elects to run a play or two with this one under a minute remaining. Might just take a knee and head to the buses as this Chandler defense steps back out. Once again, thank you to our production crew. Thank you to everyone who tuned in this evening. Chandler rolling once again. Sean Aguano has more than just this program trending in the right direction. He is well beyond that point. He has established a legitimate powerhouse here in Arizona at the high school 6A ranks. His team on its way to an 8-1 season. Only blemish, a loss in week 1. Other than that, this Chandler Wolves team has been perfect. Under 22 seconds remaining. Snap is thrown. Snap is thrown all the way back to the 10-yard line. Looks like it's going to be a possible safety. Not sure if they down near the goal line, and not too sure if the offense knew what they were doing. Montano wasn't even looking for that ball, and the snap ended up rolling all the way down near the goal line. See, the refs have. Montano wasn't even looking at the ball in the last play. And the refs are just going to pick it up and say, forget about it. 62-0 ball game. So both teams will shake hands. More fireworks go off. So they did make it through the entire game with all the fireworks, Austin. Before we put a bow on this one, any final thoughts? I mean, not too much to analyze here tonight. Just a dominant performance from this Chandler team.
I mean, Chandler, what can you say about it? They're going to be in the state championship game at the end of the season. They're going to be playing in what is now State Farm Stadium, where the Arizona Cardinals play for the state championship game. So look out for this Chandler. Look out for this Chandler team. Tucson, obviously a bummer to come all the way up here 2 hours up north to not even put a point on the board, but you know it is Chandler, and Jacob Conover is leading this team to dynamic measures, to say the least. So it's just an all-around very solid performance for Chandler.
Yep, and so we're going to keep it short and quick for us. Mentioned Conover doing his thing. He's the real deal. This Chandler team's the real deal. For Austin Burnett, I'm Andrew Bell. Thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you a pleasant good evening.